Welcome to Lords of the Fallen part number 3. I decided let's just watch another video first and then we'll
Build
start.
a reputation and only 5 minutes to ruin it. Bill Burr is a comedy legend who for a while was thought to have a lot more integrity than most other stand-up comedians, but after the fallout with the Riyadh Comedy Festival, it would seem that a lot of Bill's most loyal fans have turned on him for his inability to take criticism over his hypocritical actions. In today's video, we're going to discuss the rise and fall of Bill Burr, what it was that made so many people love him when he was coming up as a comedian, and what drastic decisions he made in the last year that would...
I wanna watch this soy pill.
Hey,
Right
it's
wing
me, the
professional
Soy Phil.
victim.
As I was sitting in my cardboard box, licking oil off a thrown-away Costco rotisserie chicken bag, I looked up at the bright TV screens with news anchors and thought to myself, what does it take to become a right-wing speaker? Sometimes, as per my last video, you're the son of rich Republican donors. Sometimes, you're the heir to the Swanson food fortune. And of course, sometimes it's because you're incredibly smart and talented. Can you imagine? But there's a special category of pundit that seems exclusive to the right, the grievance pundit. People hired not based on who their parents are, but based on how much they can exploit their persecution complex into an entire career far beyond their skills. Of course, this isn't limited to punditry. The right wing will frequently elevate and donate money to figures that go viral for such brave acts as saying the N-word, hating Indian people, and of course, saying the N-word.
The idea that one race can say the word 10,000 times a day and the other race cannot speak the syllables under any circumstance, that idea again
Is injustice, is pure injustice. I should be able to say nigger as many times as I want, but what the fuck?
totally indefensible, which is
Yes.
why no one has ever tried to defend it. It is a
That's why I will say nigger as many times as I want.
double standard that declares it a greater crime for a white person to say a word than for a black person to kill a white person. So
That word is nigger. And see, I'm not even white and nothing happens.
It's because you're incredibly smart and talented. And while these are awful and disgusting, I find it a million times more insulting when they give these people jobs and speaking events and then pretend like they
Look
have
at her
more
muscles.
insulting when they give these people jobs
Fucking
and
hell,
speaking
that's a
events
man.
and then pretend like they have anything meaningful to say. Oh, you killed a 17-year-old for walking around? Here's a lucrative GoFundMe and some signing events. What's that? You tied for 5th with a trans woman? Here's millions of dollars in a spot next to the president. If you're on the right and want to know how this makes me feel, think about how that Hawk Tuah girl became a multi-millionaire
Jesus
with one of the
Christ.
top podcasts in America.
What the fuck? This bitch is at number 3? And these two cunts are number 1 and 2? And then Candace Owens? What the fuck is wrong with this podcast community? Who the fuck listens to these people? Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan at least have some interesting guests, but fuck them. They are not interesting. That interesting. I think Lex Friedman is way better podcaster than both.
Due in zero part to her charisma or talent, but because she said a thing kind of stupidly once.
Fuck, do it, spit on that thing.
Besides deportation memes and porn that they pretend to hate, nothing gets Republicans rock hard like playing the victim and celebrating mediocrity. Recently, a college student wrote a terrible essay and got a 0. She's already getting TPUSA speaking events, honors from the government, and tons of attention, all because she's being persecuted for her beliefs. Specifically, her belief that writing at a 3rd grade level shouldn't be an automatic fail. So let's dissect some of these losers and why they should disappear forever. And as we do, we can inject some soyance into it, just to see if there's a correlation. Let's start off with Riley Gaines. As already mentioned, Riley Gaines tied for 5th against trans swimmer Leah Thomas in a race. She also... Nope, I guess that's her whole backstory. Now, some of you may get mad at me for this one, but I don't think her original grievance is entirely misplaced. Biological men, on average, are going to naturally outperform women in just about every sport, save for target shooting, long distance endurance running, and boob smashing. So if we let trans women, who have gone through male puberty, compete at the highest levels, you're going to start eroding the very reason we have sex-segregated categories in the first place, to let women win in competitive sports in spite of their sexually dimorphic disadvantage. So given Riley's situation, I'll say that her grievance is a C, because most sex-segregated categories don't really account for puberties and gender stuff, and she personally experienced the shortcomings of that, sort of, because she would have gotten 5th either way. Now, if you know me, you'd know that I advocate for whatever makes the most sense to include the most amount of people. I don't have the perfect solution.
What the fuck? She got 5th. Fox News was saying that she was supposed to be number 1, and then this trans whatever, this trans Leah, whatever his name is, got there, and she got to 2nd position because Leah Thomas got 1st. If you ask any Fox News viewer, they don't know that they both got 5th. They both had to share the prize. What the
But
fuck?
it's definitely not to keep the current sex segregation and pretend like trans people fit the original intent. Some rules associations make inclusions or exceptions or tiers based on hormone levels so that trans people aren't just excluded from a whole sector of society. But surely my solution wouldn't be to spend my life on an anti-trans crusade.
I'm not calling him she. I'm not calling him her. And I won't say trans woman because, again, that's admitting that this is some sort of subcategory of a woman. The violence that...
Okay, that's true. Fine, I won't either. Now what? Doesn't mean I don't get the sponsorship. Why do you?
we are up against, especially from trans Tifa, right? The most, like, if
Trans
you're insane
Tifa.
enough to believe that men can get pregnant and that women need prostate exams and that tampons belong in boys' bathrooms or whatever other crazy stuff that they believe, you're insane enough clearly to pull a gun and shoot someone. And the Bible tells us that we will reach a point. Bitter is seen as sweet, dark is seen as light, and evil is seen as moral. It's undeniable that that's not what we're seeing now. And look, that's not to say that people who identify as trans are evil. I don't necessarily
You just
think
said
but
that.
what is evil is deception. Lying and affirming delusions, that's evil.
Imagine if women had dicks and men had pussies and we were just really into big dicks.
See this genius. See this genius. See the genius of Joro. This retard just goes and says, imagine if...
Temptation is evil.
Relax, guys. She's not saying trans people are evil. She's saying that being nice to them and calling them by their pronouns is evil. And that trans people are just more likely to
Oh,
be
fucking
insane
hell.
murderers.
This guy is
See, those
going
trans
to be
people are
insufferable,
unique.
isn't he?
I know because it says so in my book, where people come back to life and perform. Is written by an unseen, all-knowing entity. Yeah, so Riley Gaines' entire career is just being an anti-trans figurehead, arguing to keep them not just out of sports, but bathrooms, and overall just torment trans people and make their lives harder wherever she can. Remember the NCAA rules that tried to include trans people? Well, Riley helped get them removed, and now their rule is just no trans people. But what makes this uniquely annoying versus someone like Ben Shapiro saying the same thing? Well, given her background, I think she had a legitimate case to spend her whole life talking about trans people in sports. Sure, her prescriptions are terrible and cruel, but at least she has a crumb of personal experience that she can speak to. I don't think that David Hogg is a grifter for spending his whole life talking.
He is. Fucking hell. Fuck off. He spent his whole life making money out of this one shooting. He is a
About
grifter.
gun violence. But holy shit, why in God's name do they think that she has any business talking about
And this whole professional victim shit started with the left. Then right
literally
co-opted
anything
it.
but her personal experience?
Abortion says life in the womb is only valuable if it's wanted. He's openly stating his intent to solicit funds from taxpayers like you and me to harbor illegal aliens. Is this not treason?
Who gives a shit what Riley Gaines thinks about illegal immigration or abortion? She's just some girl who tied for 5th in a swimming competition that no one gives a fuck about. Why are we listening to her? And don't get me
Why?
wrong, I understand the irony. I'm just some guy that people listen to for
You don't look like this. Sorry,
reason.
fuck off.
But I chose to spout my opinions as a career. My numbers, as much as I don't want to brag,
I don't want to. I'm
for
just
as
reacting.
dumb as I am, exist because something I say resonates with people. Riley Gaines failed at something. and
How
had a
many
bunch of
subscribers
money
this
for-
idiot has? Oh, fucking hell. Sam Harris, Right Wing Civil War is here. Oh yeah, I wanna watch. It's going to be entertaining. What does Scam Harris has to say about right wing?
Failure was a culture war issue, and even in her likely botted host channel of almost 2 million subs, she barely cracks 1,000 views because she's not talented and has nothing to offer the world other than her one story. So when she's not shoehorned into a rally, she has no audience to speak of. She goes on stage with the president.
I'm not interested.
God, do any of these people have talent?
Don't be so sure.
Holy shit.
This idiot.
Jordan Peterson was one of the OG
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
grifters. Jordan Peterson got famous not because of telling people to clean their rooms, but by complaining about Bill C-16 in Canada. That was the one that added gender expression to protected classes, which Peterson claimed was going to get him thrown in jail for misgendering.
I haven't refused to use someone's gender-neutral pronouns. I said that I would refuse. With regards to these human rights tribunals where all this stuff would be sorted out, it's like those places destroy your reputation and destroy you financially. And can they put you in jail? Well, it's a complicated argument in some sense, but I can tell you that if you refuse to pay the fines, that's the next step.
Now, did this ever happen? Ever? No. So, grievance-wise, F. But you know what? Say what you will about the man. Hypocrite? Sure. Spreader of hate? Yes. Crybaby? Absolutely. Cringy? I'll give you that. Pedantic? Also true. Insane?
What was
yes.
that?
Crybaby? Absolutely. Cringy? I'll give you that.
Oh,
Pedantic?
shit.
Also true. Insane? Yes. But he is a talented orator and very entertaining, whether you buy into his dumb bullshit or just want to see him draw schizophrenic graphs.
The question, did that happen, begs the question, what do you mean by happen?
That's so deep. What the fuck? This retard never feels through amazement.
Just as questionable as what you're questioning. Do you believe in God? And I think, okay, there's a couple of mysteries in that question. What do you mean do? What do you mean you? What do you mean believe? And what do you mean God?
What the fuck are you talking about? So in talent, I'm going to give him an A. He has no business talking about climate change or really anything in politics, but boy does he make it entertaining. But now that I'm thinking more outside the box, I don't know if this is okay to ask, but does Erica Kirk count? Because grievance-wise, she gets an A. Her husband was taken from her live on TV. That's as bad as it gets. And no, that video you saw getting passed around is not real. Epstein did not save him.
Hell yeah, that's a beat.
But what? This qualifies her to speak on literally anything other than
This video was creepy as fuck.
grief? Why is she the new CEO of TPUSA? Besides the obvious contradiction of the right-wing stay-in-the-kitchen politics that her husband professed, what qualifies her to run the business? Oh my god.
She used to be hot. Charlie Kirk. Is that her? No, that's Taylor Swift. Fucking hell.
Her husband professed
Submit
what
to you.
qualifies her to run the business. Oh my god, wait a minute. She literally has a college degree and was the CEO of a clothing business. She's unironically several times more qualified than Charlie Kirk ever was. That's hilarious. You know what? Fuck it. If some dipshit high school student can become the head of TPUSA and spout off nonsense politics, then Erica can do it too. Slay Queen, I'm sorry I ever doubted you.
Despite the devastating loss of Charlie Kirk, my incredible husband at UVU, Caleb has persisted with the same gift.
Oh, wait, no, maybe you're horrible at this.
You have amazing role models like the assassin J.D. Vance, our vice president.
You know what? God is so good, you let it roll right off your back. And this is what's so beautiful about this moment, because if the internet wants to clip it, who cares? I love this woman. She's an amazing woman. She has a soul and a heart for the Lord. And words are words, but I know her heart, and it doesn't even matter. And you say what you want to say because I know your heart.
Oh, you're really bad at this. Maybe it was a bad idea to give the mic to someone who replaces moments of silence with WWE wrestling intros and grieving book marketing.
This book is very personal to me because
What the fuck is wrong with them?
Also, side note, but inviting Nicki Minaj as a headliner to AmFest just so clearly exposes how everything is about power to Republicans. She's speaking at the same conference with the guy who has an infamous tendency to shit on rap music. A conference started by the guy who said that you'd be a terrible role model.
Nicki Minaj is causing dads to leave the home.
Hold on a second. I don't think that's a good role model for 18-year-old black girls. I don't.
Republicans
What's
don't
that
care about
hairstyle?
celebrities voicing their political opinions. audience, they care if those celebrities disagree with them. They don't care if rap is degenerate. They care if a big-name rapper endorses them. I give it about 2 years before they disavow Nicki Minaj completely and welcome with open arms Alec Baldwin as the keynote speaker at the NRA. And finally, we get to Samantha Fulnecki, a name I'm sure has nothing to do with...
Seems we have Ben Shapiro, Erica Kirk, Mark Levin on one side, and you got Candace, Nick Fuentes, and Tucker, and I guess maybe even Megan at this point, Megan Kelly on the other.
That's interesting.
I mean, just look at what was demonstrated at the Turning Point conference, right? Here you've got the certainly in the aftermath of Kirk's assassination, then the most important meeting out there in the real world for Republicans now was this America Fest conference. I think about 30,000 people attended, something like that. This is where all the energy is in the Republican Party. This is where all the the political momentum is, and the concern around votes. And here you've got a group of people who are so enamored of conspiracy thinking that when someone shows up telling them that they had their own founder murdered, right? This is Tucker. This is basically Tucker Carlson's, the space he's protecting for Candace Owens' conspiracy thinking, right? Candace is going on and on about how Turning Point had Kirk murdered. I think there's even something about Erica Kirk being implicated in this or in having an affair with J.D. Vance. I mean, I don't listen to Candace, but I just hear the echoes of her madness.
And always a pinch of Jews in there too.
Oh yeah, yes, all of this ends in Auschwitz. You can be sure of it. It's insane to say this, but one of the most influential broadcasters, right of center, Candace Owens, claiming ad nauseum that Turning Point had its patron saint and founder assassinated, and Tucker is resisting Tucker and also Megyn Kelly and again the leading lights of conservative broadcasting are protecting that space for her, not wanting to exile her, not wanting to even criticize her really, because they're so concerned about the importance of her audience, and they're so enamored of conspiracy thinking themselves, and you force this allegation into the citadel of Turning Point itself, the first conference they're having after the murder of their founder. You say, you evil people had your founder killed.
Yeah.
And half the room wants to hear more, right? Half the room applauds, right? They're down for it.
I belong in half room. And this is the last how do you say, entertaining political video, because I don't give a fuck about politics. But this is entertaining. Oh shit. Oh fuck. I spilled my medication. Wait a minute. It's nothing serious, it's just antidepressants and the syrup. Okay.
That's how much they love conspiracy thinking.
Yeah.
Right. That's how crazy this culture is. You're pointing the finger of accusation at them, saying you murdered him with the Jews, with Israel.
Not with the Jews, of course. Jews didn't have to do anything. We don't need to lump Jews in with every single conspiracy theory. Jews belong with Epstein. No, not really. Not that way, but that box of conspiracy theories. Israel belongs, not all Jews.
With the French Foreign Legion, whatever the fucking theory is.
But isn't Turning Point also guilty of doing the same thing? Why don't they stand up? Eric could come out and say, hey, if you're going to have that, you leave.
Turning Point itself is saying, tell us more. Like the people who paid for those tickets, the people who are part of the organization, the people who showed up, the Jack Posobiec's on the stage who will just both sides it and say, it's Ben Shapiro says one thing, but then you got Tucker and Candace saying the other thing. The other thing is you had Charlie Kirk assassinated, you evil bastards, right? And they've got time for it, right? That's how fucking crazy this culture has become. To say nothing of the fact that they have time for Nick Fuentes, So Tucker gives Nick Fuentes the platform of all platforms, ushers him into the mainstream of the Republican Party, an avowed anti-Semite, an avowed incel hater of women, an avowed fan of Hitler and Stalin, and someone who's also, against the interracial
You can't be fan of both Hitler and Stalin. You can be fan of
marriage
only
and
one.
castigating the vice president for his, having married an Indian woman, and even the vice president, even J.D. Vance, can't say anything critical of Nick Fuentes apart from saying that anyone who comes after my wife can fuck off. Right? It's just it's the slur against his wife.
Keep it on the Jews.
Yeah, which he could barely. Literally, he could barely find the courage to disavow that. So important is it to keep these anti-Semites and white supremacists and moral lunatics in the tent, right? No enemies to the right is so much the master algorithm that he can barely say anything against Fuentes in defense of his own wife, right, and his biracial children. But needless to say, he can't say anything. There's nothing wrong with ushering in a fan of Hitler and Stalin into the big tent of the MAGA party. No, because we need those guys. We need the fans of Stalin and the fans of Hitler, and they just asking questions.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
Don't know whether the Holocaust happened.
Okay, this is boring. Fucking, I thought he will make it interesting, but nope. Sam is on Joe Rogan, Lex Friedman clips. What the fuck is he said about Joe Rogan?
Well, because you brought up Joe. He's somebody like you I look up to.
Don't look up to everybody, bro.
From him, because I think who he is privately as a human being, also he's kind of the voice of curiosity to me. He inspired me that. It's like unending, open-minded curiosity. Much like you are the voice of reason. They recently had a podcast. Joe had recently had a podcast with Jordan Peterson, and he brought you up saying they still have a hope for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any chance
yeah.
Any chance you talk to Joe again and reinvigorate your friendship?
Yeah, well, I reached out to him.
Power of love.
I think we got a little sideways along these same lines where, we've talked about Brett and Elon and other people. It was never to that degree with Joe because Joe's in a very different lane, right? And consciously so. I mean, Joe is a stand-up comic who interviews, who just is interested in everything, interviews the widest conceivable variety of people, and just lets his interests collide with their expertise or lack of expertise. I mean, it's a super wide variety of people. He'll talk about anything, and he can always pull the ripcord, saying, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I'm a comic. I'm stoned. We just drank too much, right? Like it's very entertaining. It's all in, to my eye, it's all in good faith. I think Joe is an extraordinarily ethical, good person.
Also doesn't use Twitter.
Fucking hell, is he drunk?
Yeah. No,
Joe is a good person. Fucking hell, shut the fuck up.
He is an entertainer first. I mean, I'm not saying he's not smart and doesn't understand things. What's potentially confusing is he's very smart and he's also very informed.
He's not. Sorry.
His full-time job is when he's not doing stand-up or doing color commentary for the UFC, his full-time job is talking to lots of very smart people at great length. So he's created the Joe Rogan University for himself, and he's gotten a lot of information crammed into his head. So
only thing worthwhile with Joe Rogan is his guests. That's it. Not Joe Rogan. Nobody watched Joe Rogan for Joe Rogan.
He's uninformed, but he can always, when he feels that he's uninformed, or when it turns out he was wrong about something, he can always pull the ripcord and say, I'm just a comic. We were stoned. It was fun. Don't take medical advice from me. I don't play a doctor on the internet, right? I can't quite do that, right? You can't quite do that. We're in different lanes. I'm not saying you and I are in exactly the same lane, but for much of Joe's audience, I'm just this establishment shill, just banging on about the universities and medical journals, and it's not true, but that would be the perception. And as a counterpoint to a lot of what's being said on Joe's podcast, or certainly Brett's podcast on these topics, I can see how they would form that opinion. But in reality, if you listen to me long enough, you hear that I've said as much against the woke nonsense as anyone, even any lunatic on the right can only keep that bright shining object in view, right? So there's nothing that Candace Owens has said about wokeness that I haven't said about wokeness, insofar as she's speaking rationally about wokeness. But we have to be able to keep multiple things in view, right? If you could only look at the problem of wokeness and you couldn't acknowledge the problem of Trump and Trumpism and QAnon and the explosion of irrationality.
What the fuck even happened to QAnon?
That was happening on the right, and bigotry that was happening on the right. You were just disregarding half of the landscape, and many people took half of the problem. Lost something like 300,000 people unnecessarily in the U.S. because of vaccine hesitancy.
But I think there's a way to communicate with humility about the uncertainty of things that would increase the vaccination rate.
I do believe that it is rational and sometimes effective to signal impatience with certain bad ideas, right? And certain conspiracy theories and certain forms of misinformation.
You think so?
It's just...
I just think it makes you look like a douchebag most times.
Well, no, certain people are persuadable, certain people are not persuadable, but it's... No, because there's not enough. It's the opportunity cost. Not everything can be given a patient hearing. It's like you can't have a physics conference and then let people in to just trumpet their pet theories about the grand unified vision of physics when they're obviously crazy, or they're obviously half crazy, or they're just not. Or, the people. It's like you begin to get a sense for this when it is your wheelhouse. But there are people who kind of declare their irrelevance to the conversation fairly quickly without knowing that they have done it, right? And the truth is, I think I'm one of those people on the topic of COVID, right? Dude,
you are so fucking boring. Fuck off. This painting is on another level. Jesus Christ, that was so fucking boring. Angel we fear most. No interesting video. Nope. Let's just play. Okay, here we go, bro. I defeated the Congregator of Flesh, finally. Half sleepily, but it wasn't getting recorded for some reason. Then I came to this vestige and I talked with him. Byron.
I'll be around. Always am.
Okay, he is going to be around. He always is. Oh my god. I want a cooler sword. I want the sword of reapers. Something is really strange with this. I need to upgrade it more, I think. I'm under-leveled. We could have watched Jujutsu Kaisen first episode. Oh fucking hell, that would have been cool. What does these eyes do? They don't do anything. They just watch. Umbrella bat. So that's why this game is cool. We have so many hidden areas here. Angel sex. No. It was so disappointing seeing the difference between performance and quality mode in this game, and I was like, Sony, fuck you. In other games there isn't any difference, like in what's it called? Resident Evil, Elden Ring, and all the games I've checked. They run smoothly as fuck. Except for this. Lords of the Fallen part 2 or 3 or whatever is going to be releasing soon. I have no idea where I'm going. I'm just leaving. Yeah, it's an option to get out of it. Okay, I went back. Of course, it's going to be locked. And the way I defeated the blind Agatha boss and conjugator of Flash was so cool. I parried her whenever you get close to her, she takes out her knife to stab you, and I parried her. That was so cool. Nah, not right now. It's not worth it right now. Do I have enough souls to level up? Nope. This was a fucking run. I've been here multiple times. This was a farming spot. But it was so long ago I forgot. It isn't Elden Ring where I keep on switching. How do you say? Where I keep on switching classes or whatever. Builds. Here I just want an Umbra build. That's it. In Elden Ring there are so many cool builds. Faith plus Dax, pure Dax. And Liza PM trying pure Dax build. So it's fucking amazing. What's amazing is like I'm not even interested in this trans debate anymore. But she got fifth medal, and Fox News just puts it out as if she got first prize, and now she has to share the medal. What the fuck? Oh yeah, parry. I parried her the same way. Who the fuck were you shooting at your natal? Fucking hell. Oh, where was it? How was it? Downstairs? What the fuck? You stupid bitch. I already talked to them, right? There was more to this place than this fucking... Yeah, it was on purpose. No, downstairs. I've been here.
The sorcerer I was traveling with said the trinket I wore was actually some kind of ancient magical accessory. Said it would toughen my skin against harm if I let him reinvigorate it with his sorcery. As you can see, he did that sure enough. Stupid bastard. But he was a stupid bastard with coin, and a mercenary's got who make a living.
Okay. How to do her quest? I need to search it. And you fucker, you poison me? Poison me? How dare you poison me? They must... There must be anti-poison vials. And anti-poison. Ah, here it is. Use. Fucking man. Let's react to one more. React to this guy. Where is this guy? Critical drinker. Here is a Avengers Doomsday.
Oh, Marvel, you could not live with your own failure. And where did that bring you? Back to me. In case you've been living under a rock for the past couple of weeks, or just passed out drunk from too much festive celebration, you're probably gonna know that Marvel have started dropping teaser trailers for Avengers Doomsday, which is still like a year away, but what the hell, you've got to build that hype up somehow. And hats off to them for this one, using fire and ass, probably the biggest Disney movie of the entire year, as an exclusive release mechanism was a pretty genius marketing move. Whoever came up with that idea, give that man a raise.
No, I don't think I will.
Right from...
He already has these cutouts to copy paste. He always uses the same Arnold Schwarzenegger, Captain America, one with Nicolas Cage drinking in bathroom.
The get-go, Marvel have made no secret of the
And
fact
what else?
that Doomsday was going to be all about one thing: nostalgia. Arguably because that's the only card left for the MCU to play at this point before it all gets rebooted and the cycle of money-making begins again with a new generation. And yeah, it might be cheap and manipulative, but you've got to admit, it's pretty fucking effective. Remember all those characters you used to love in other better movies when our franchise was actually still good? Well, they're back for one last adventure. This is the last time you're ever going to see them on the big screen. You don't want to miss out on that, do you? You dick. It's a bit like that cool new band you used to love as a teenager, but then they aged out of their style and their last few albums were kind of shit, and you moved on to other stuff and gradually lost interest. But then you find out they're playing one last farewell gig in your hometown. You're probably going to go see them for old time's sake, if nothing else. And because the entire movie's predicated on which nostalgia-bait characters and actors they're able to get back, the teasers they've released so far have reflected that. The first one focused on the return of Steve Rogers for the first time in 6 years, probably the worst kept secret in movie making. I guess Captain Falcon Man wasn't the big hit they hoped for, eh?
He's out of line, but he's right.
It's almost like a character is more than just the clothes they wear or the shield they carry, and copy-pasting them onto someone else doesn't transfer the emotional investment you had in the original. Especially when the new guy is used as a cheap excuse to lecture you about how domestic terrorism is actually good and everyone needs to do better, without providing any actual ideas or solutions of his own.
But you have no idea how complicated this situation is.
You know what? You're right. And that's a good thing.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Nobody liked Falcon. I didn't even think about watching
To be
it.
honest here, we all knew
I
Chris
didn't even
Evans
pirate it.
was going to come back to the MCU at some point. You can only say no to those big Marvel paychecks and all that media exposure for so long. And well, it's not like he's been drowning in blockbuster movie success since Endgame. The teaser depicts him as a loving father reluctantly called back to the fight to help save the world.
What the fuck did I just hear?
Wait a second, a capable, loving, successful, aspirational father figure in a Disney movie?
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
What kind of bizarro world are we living in here? Next you'll be telling me that Thor isn't portrayed as a goofy joke.
So that I may fight once more, defeat one more enemy, and return home to her.
Oh my god, Taika
Yes,
Waititi must be spinning in his grave right now. Wait, what do you mean he's not dead? Oh, sorry, it's just his career that's dead. You know, as much as the first two Thor movies took themselves a little too seriously and hadn't quite figured out how to use the character,
I liked first two Thor movies. They were pretty cool.
the more I think about it, the more I realise I'd rather watch their earnest...
The first one was like where he was like hot-headed guy, hot-headed prince. who was a warmonger. Then he learned about some stuff on Earth. Then he became a bit more calm and cool-headed guy, wiser. I liked first one. First Thor movie was my favorite one.
But clumsy attempts to live up to the Shakespearean grandeur of the god of thunder than ever subject myself to farcical, self-deprecating sludge like Love and Thunder.
What the fuck is he saying?
Clumsy attempts. The more I think about it, the more I realise I'd rather watch their earnest but clumsy attempts to live up to the Shakespearean grandeur of the god of thunder than ever subject myself to farcical, self-deprecating sludge like Love and Thunder. Say what you want about them, but there's a kind of simplistic sincerity and honesty to their take on Thor, instead of making him the butt of endless jokes and cheap, ironic deconstruction. In fact, I do believe I speak for the entire world when I say we are so fucking done with having our heroes and our stories and our mythologies deconstructed and mocked. They've been deconstructed to the point where there's literally nothing left of them. And for what? So that some wanky, pretentious video essayist can jerk off to the ironic postmodernist reflection of today's nihilistic, morally grey world?
Where did this rant come from? Jesus Christ.
Wanky, pretentious video essayists. Sometimes it's
Where did this rant come from? Jesus Christ, is he drunk? Oh yeah, he is. So what? Everybody likes to watch morally grey movies. Nobody likes to watch simple one-sided story. And the first Thor movie wasn't a simple one-sided story. It was a bit more complicated than that.
Okay for a hero to just be a fucking hero. Anyway, I digress. Much like the Steve Rogers teaser, Thor is also depicted as the archetype of a father living a peaceful life, forced to take up arms once more to defend everything he loves. It's a surprisingly honest, heartfelt, sincere, dramatic scene that just works. No Valkyrie with her shit-eating smirk to put him down. No retarded rock monster making quippy observations about everything that's happening. No Jane Foster trying to outdo him like a walking inferiority complex. Just a man, older and wiser and scarred by past battles, looking deep inside for the strength to go into the fray one more time. The third teaser, which I can't show yet because it hasn't been released on YouTube and I don't want to get sued, focuses on Professor X and Magneto agreeing to work together. Two old friends and enemies with a lifetime of baggage and conflicting ideologies behind them, learning to put aside their differences and work together for the greater goods. Again, it's simple but effective stuff. No shitty jokes, no ironic quips, no girl bosses to undermine the moment, just two people we know and care about having a scene together that's actually allowed to breathe and sink in.
No way! Yes way!
Jesus H. Christ, is Marvel actually growing up? Have they actually listened to all the fan complaints and the box office bombs and taken steps to correct it? I don't know. These are just teasers at the end of the day. For all I know, the finished movie could still be a chaotic, goofy, self-deprecating disaster that makes Love and Thunder look like War and Peace. But if these teasers are in any way reflective of the end product, well, I think Marvel are playing the best hand they possibly can here. They're making smart moves, treating Doomsday with the gravitas and seriousness it deserves, putting their most iconic heroes that they know people actually care about front and center, instead of a bunch of AstroTurf diversity hires and cheap carbon copies. You know, it's amazing what you can do when you give your customer what they actually want, instead of force-feeding them what you think they need. But you can't please everyone all of the time, and the people who make it their business to be offended on...
Oh god,
Well,
what the
dear
fucking
viewer,
hell.
they've practically destroyed their own changed course and...
Boring.
You didn't get. I hate to get on Trump stuff, but have you seen the plaques?
No, I heard about it. So there's plaques under everybody's.
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah, I was stuck at this what to do after killing Kazan, so I watched a part of it. And I do watch Just Human, it's pretty good, but I don't like to watch, how do you say, too many guides, only when I'm stuck. Yeah, let's play Lords of the Fallen. It's better, let's play Neo 2. Let's play Neo 2. I wanna play Neo 2. Wait a second, let me change the. Okay, so I'm. What's weird is like the characters have same amount of controls as Neo 2. Even less. Neo 2's controls are way better. Whoa, where are we? And second, I don't know where the fuck are. You ugly fuck. Poison javelin. Okay, let's play Neo 2. 1 minute. Let's play Neo 2, baby. That stage where I'm stuck at. Okay, sorry for break. Ah, fucking hell, I remembered Neo 2's retarded control system. Let's not play Neo. Fucking hell. It will drive me crazy because soon Code Vein is releasing and it won't have access the control, and I won't play Neo 2 ever again after Neo 3 releases. So let's play Lies of P instead. Okay, Lies of P. Let me keep checking if there are some interesting videos. Okay, let's go. Where do we go after this? Center Vanini works? Not really. Archbishop's altar. We have to give something back to the sister or something, yeah? This moveset is stupid, but I just took it. It's better to use that one. And this looks cooler than a fucking pokey poke. Music is super depressing in this game, so I turn off. Archbishop's diary. Cecile isn't well today, but Adam found her standing like one of the dead at the edge of the cliff, brought her back. Smiled, Steve walking, it's fine, I'm worried her old blood can sickness again, I don't know what's wrong with you. Archbishop's holy mark. Oh, we also have a safe. Fuck yeah, we are thieves or Looters. Strengthening frame. What's wrong with you, bro? Whoa, this is strong. I like that Lords of the Fallen has game modifiers. No other Souls like does this. Like officially, they have game modifiers here. They have as much as fun as you want, randomized enemies and stuff. I wish Elden Ring did something like that. Where? How do I go to sister, whatever her name is? That woman over there. Do I just... go back to the altar or something like that? Where is she? What the fuck?
Wonder what your flesh tastes like.
I was so late. She even says it. It's too late for your early manga. Right on the nose, fucking hell. I wanted to save her. That's why you have guides, huh? Okay, where do I go now? Do I have to watch Just Human again? Oh no. Path of Pilgrim, Foggy Night. Is... What the fuck? That's a dog.
Once, Krot was just a small town on the coast of little importance. Before Elysian Boulevard was built, this place literally was all there was of Krot. But when some in the city prospered, they left the old town behind. Through isolation and neglect, Krot's first incarnation became nothing but dangerous alleys and desperate slums. On the bright side, I guess, the whole city of Krot's pretty much like that now. The old town caught up with the new. It's true what they say. A receding tide sinks all boats.
Something I have to do with this. Sorry. Hello? हाँ चलो बाय बाय we have to do something over here after chapter 8 or you know how stupid this weapons moves are, but it's really fucking powerful. Poke and you're dead. One poke and you're dead. Poke, you're dead. Fucking love it. Oh, this game does have a site. King of Puppets site. That's what I want. Fucking bear. Holy fuck, bear just fall apart. You know, when you play with guides, some areas look so much longer than they are. So much more time consuming than they actually are. And it's actually fun to play. There's some kind of freedom to play without any guide. Just read about it, like, okay, I wanna do this, I like this character, I wanna do this character's quest line, what do I have to do? That's it. Watching guides and playing is kind of like having shackles on your legs and then running. You see, it kind of restricts you, or not really restricts you, but it takes away this sense of wonder or something when you encounter something first time. My plan is to collect all the hidden moonstone until I reach King of Puppets. Tombstones entrance. He's not gonna die. Okay. Unbreakable attack. What? It was breakable. Okay, that's enough from miscellaneous part, and then I'll record rest of it in Lies of P part number 3, yeah? Or 4, or whatever it is. Next will be in Lies of P. Thanks, bye.